And I'm like, okay. And she's like, it's called Nacho. And she just went through the whole gamut. I said, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't know this existed. And it was like the best revelation ever. So
you're listening to the Nacho Kids Podcast, where we discuss all things step family related. Real stories, real people, real help. Your hosts are the creators of the Nacho Kids Method and the Nacho Kids Academy Step Family Coaching Team, Lori and David Sims.
Only 4 more shopping days till Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry ho, ho to you.
I
I like Christmas.
don't know.
I have fond memories of Christmas when I was little, being little. There was a place that had all these Christmas lights, and we would all pile up in like my uncle's van, and there'd be like a caravan of 5 cars, and we'd go through this place, and they'd have all the animated Christmas lights. I mean, it had to cost them millions of dollars to have these Christmas lights. And I just remember that, and it was just joyous.
I remember my grandfather, when he retired, he started doing the Christmas light thing. Like, it started before you got to his house. Like, I don't know how he was able to do this without somebody coming and complaining, because lights were going across the road 100 yards before you got to his house.
As long as they were hooked up to his electricity.
I guess. And they went all the way past his house. And I mean, it's crazy. Like, he must have spent 2 solid weeks putting these lights up. It was crazy. But anyway.
Well, we live not far from McAdenville.
Oh, we ain't been there in a while.
Right. It's like a city of lights or something.
It's Christmastown, USA.
Yeah, there we go. It's Christmastown, USA. Remember when we took the kids?
I do remember that.
Oh, gosh. We took the kids, and of course, it's crowded, and there's a long line, and we're sitting in the line, and then they realized, I think finally we told them where we were going, and they were not happy at all.
Yeah, it's a long, slow drive through McAdenville.
But it's so pretty.
It is. The whole town's lit up.
I think one of the kids enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the last several years has kind of got me to be like more bah humbug about Christmas.
Because your kids aren't here.
Well, it's that. And then like my entire life growing up, we did Christmas at my grandparents' house, and they both passed away in the past, 5 years or so. And so the last Christmas we had there, I think, is when the Christmas fight broke out.
I don't know. I think there was one more after that, because I remember smoking with your grandma. And that wasn't the same night, I don't think.
I don't know, but there was that whole fiasco with the fight that broke out on Christmas Christmas Eve, a literal fist fight. And anyway, I ended up in it, but not fist fighting. But
no, David was choking people out.
I wasn't going to go into it, but okay.
Yeah, they're like, "Stop! You're going to kill him." And his mom was like, "Let him go." And he's like, "If I let him go, he's going to drop." I mean,
yeah. So it was just all fun and games.
Yeah.
So
well, Christmas is kind of sad though too, because you start thinking about like, my mom's passed away, my sister's passed away, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And you just miss them, and then you hear those really sad Christmas songs. I don't know. In the end, we'll all be together. Oh wait, that's New Year's Eve, ain't it?
I don't know.
But anyway, you hear all these sad songs, and it's just like, I want my mama. And it's just sad. But if I don't think about that stuff, I like Christmas.
I guess it's just the way the traditions in my family have changed. Like, my dad's side of the family, they don't do anything anymore. Like, they do stuff with like their generation, but we don't get together with them at all. So that kind of went away. And then when my grandparents both passed away, we don't do that anymore. And that, there was a big family stink, after they passed away. Of course, people fighting over property and money and stuff like that. So, half the family between that, and then we had some other stuff that happened with my cousin and his dad. And so they don't show up to anything anymore. So it's like,
it's your normal American family.
I know, it's all busted up.
Yep.
And so nobody shows up to anything. So it's basically just, my immediate family.
Remember last year when my family, my dad and my sister and my niece and everybody came out here, and my niece got mad at my sister, and so I probably spent an hour on the porch trying to calm her down so she wouldn't fight my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Y'all, those are memories.
Yeah. And that time we went to your mom's house and Dawn was there and we weren't there 15 minutes and I'm like, we got to go.
Yeah. My sister,
she was colorful.
She was one of a kind.
So yeah, that's what I'm just saying that like Christmas has been stressful for the past 5 years or so.
Oh, wait a minute. So it seems like when I came around, your Christmas got stressful?
You know what? I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it.
Well, I'll take it. Because it seems like every year Christmas has been stressful at some way or another with my family. Because somebody always gets mad. And one person getting mad just ruins it for everybody.
It sure does.
That's like Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving. What's your mama?
Whew. Yeah, that almost went off the rails.
Yep. I was 2 seconds from Nacho and Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. And you weren't the only one.
Nope, but I was going to be the first one out the door. I can promise you that.
Yeah. So, but everybody's stressed. Like all the stress of running out and buying stuff, the stress of cooking all day long and whatever else. And then, especially if you're having it at your house, then now you've had to clean up and all this kind of stuff. And it's so stressful.
Yeah.
And then, if you don't have, like for us, it was always funny because I'm like, we have all the kids. Why are we having to pile into a car and go somewhere else where it'd be a lot easier if we didn't have to pile all the kids in the car and go somewhere? We could just have it here. But then that comes with its own stress because now you got to host everybody.
Well,
But yeah, it's tough. And then you got, do we have the kids this weekend? What about you guys? When do y'all have when do you want to do the party? I don't know. We won't have the kids. Oh, wait a minute. We got half the kids this week, but we only have the other half next week.
Oh, well, we got to make sure we have them when you have your kids. It don't matter when she's got her kids.
Oh, I know. Exactly. Uh-huh. It's like, I got my kids. Well, that's fine. Well, but Jackson won't be able to participate. Well,
he don't matter.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever said that, but I mean, it's like,
that ain't our problem.
Yeah. It's like, okay, okay, let's just do Christmas in February.
Yeah.
It'll be easier.
Well, we've said it before and we'll say it again. There needs to be 2 holidays for every holiday for blended families.
It should be Christmas 1 and Christmas 2.
Right.
It's like thing 1 and thing 2.
Thanksgiving 1, Thanksgiving 2, July 4th. Because, some people never get to have their kids for July 4th to see fireworks.
July 4th and July 11th.
Now, I'm presuming, again, that people are in the United States. I don't think that our British friends celebrate July 4th.
I'm pretty sure
or Thanksgiving.
No.
But I think Germans have Potato Day.
Potato Day?
Potato Day or Potato Week. Huh. Like they get a bunch of holidays. It seems like we don't.
Okay. Anyway, you got me all stressed again.
Mm-hmm.
See, last week you got me stressed out about somebody complaining about watching my video. Now this week you got me stressed out about Christmas.
I told y'all his attitude changes at Christmas time.
It does not change.
It does.
All right, we'll see.
I do want to bring up something though. This is kind of sad, so y'all bear with me.
Do you want me to hum?
No.
Mm-hmm.
The holidays are hard for a lot of people. Like David said, because of finances, family issues, just the stresses of the holidays. And then on top of that, you've got people that are missing other people and that have passed on. And then you've got people that feel like they're alone. So the holidays, suicide rates tend to increase. So if you know somebody that's alone and doesn't have anybody to spend the holidays with, invite them to your house. Or if you don't want them at your house, just take them a dinner or take them a Christmas ornament or something to show them that somebody does care about them.
I like that.
Yeah. Or you could do like we did. And for my birthday one year, we made the kids go to volunteer at a Christmas function for homeless people.
Yeah, there's a local nonprofit and they do, they give out gifts or turkeys or whatever they do. And so we took the kids and made them participate. And of course, they hated it for the first 15, 20 minutes or so. And then they got into it and they're like, oh, okay, this is fun. We're helping people out. Once the people started coming in, they started seeing people's faces light up. And, they actually got to give people stuff, then it changed. But yeah, when it was just stuff in bags and boxes and all that, they were like, oh my gosh.
I know I've told this story, but again, I don't know if I've told it on the podcast because this is our first Christmas on our podcast.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
It is. But my mom and some neighbors had gotten together and picked some kids from school that needed help with Christmas. Their families needed help with Christmas stuff. So our living room was like slap full of presents.
Mm-hmm.
And my pawpaw dressed up as Santa Claus and went to these kids' houses.
Oh, that's nice.
And took them Santa. And I mean, these kids racked up. I mean, and I think Mama she asked us if we were okay with her cutting our Christmas down so we could help other kids. But I have a feeling that one of us said no. And she said, too bad it's happening anyway.
I could tell you exactly which sister said no.
And, but anyway, one little boy was in my class, and I remember at Christmas, or when we went back from Christmas break or whatever, he was talking about how great his Christmas was and how that white Santa Claus made him happy.
That white Santa Claus.
Yep. And it just, it touched my heart so much because this kid had no idea that was my granddaddy.
And you didn't tell him, I hope.
No.
Good.
I still didn't tell him, but it brings tears to my eyes still. And I'm still friends with this kid on Facebook after all these years. Not that we were friends when I was in school on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So do something kind. The feeling that you will get by seeing somebody just smile is much more than you'll get by even receiving a gift, you know? Even if it's as simple, I mean, I know everybody struggles financially at Christmas, or most people do. Even if it's just going to the store and holding the door open for somebody or saying happy holidays. Even if you're don't celebrate Christmas, you can say happy holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or if the person in front of you has $3 worth of groceries, buy their groceries.
If they have $3 worth of groceries, they got a pack of gum.
Yeah, you might want to make sure. We used to laugh because, the pay it forward thing would go on, and the person in front of somebody at the drive-thru would pay for the person behind them. And we're like, man, we feel sorry for the person that gets us because, there were 7 of us. Mm-hmm. I mean, Chick-fil-A, you looking at what? $50 easy.
Yeah. But it did happen.
It did.
I was shocked.
Yeah, because they were like, man. So you might want to check the car behind you. And you never know. It could be one person, but ordering for 15.
That's when you pull up and go, how much is our order?
Yeah. How much is the person behind me?
Okay, what about the second one?
Yeah. Or you could just say, just put an extra $20 on my card and pay for the people as they go.
Yeah. Or just, pay $20 toward their food.
Right.
Even.
Just do something.
But, I've always been a proponent of making things for Christmas because number one, it's not expensive on you. But number two, it always means so much more to the person that you're giving it to. Yep.
I remember painting some granny ceramics and giving it to my mama the Christmas before she died.
Mm-hmm. But those things like that, I mean, you might have $5 or $10 in something. And man, that's better than $100 gift any day of the week.
Well, and something else I do, and I've done it since my son was born, was I buy Christmas ornaments from Things Remembered. Mm-hmm. And I have them etched, with the name and the year. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm dead,
you can throw them all away.
Hopefully he'll have, let's see, at least 40 of them? 50? That'd be cool.
You gonna live that long?
Look, dude, I'm trying.
Good grief.
Trying. I won't get pushed around in that wheelchair.
So I'm locked in.
Wheelies.
I'm locked in.
You locked in.
My gigolo days are going to be gone.
Let's get off with all this sappy stuff because my heart's all sad right now. We're tenderized. We talked to Stepmom. Yeah, Dave, we do. I think you do. I'm not sure if you're on that one or not. I think you are.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we talked about having a place to exchange kids for like a 10-minute daycare.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Yeah, vaguely.
Well, we laugh because when we go to drop my son off and pick him up for visitation with his dad, there's other people there doing the same thing. So we're like, man, wouldn't it be cool to have somewhere that you could just go and drop your kid off for 10 minutes? That way, for the people that don't do well meeting, you don't have that confrontation.
Oh, I think it's a great idea. I don't know if it's
They could sell Snickers bars.
I don't know if it's a good business idea, but I think it's a good idea for step parents.
Mm-hmm. All we need is the courts to put everybody's times on the same time. Drop off 6:30, pick up 6:30.
You have 400 kids going in a little room.
From 6:20 to 6:40 is when it's open. If you 10 minutes late, you don't get your kid.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be fantastic. Like I said, I don't know if it's a good business idea. There's a lot to think through there, but man, if I could have done that when we were doing the kid swap thing, I would have done it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I definitely would have done it because then I wouldn't have been accused of trying to have family moments in the Bayou parking lot.
You were.
I was.
You know, if you
trying to play happy family in the
Bayou
parking lot at 6:30 at night.
Yeah. If you said anything to him at all, it was
trying to play happy family.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to tell you what's in his bag that you need to know about.
Mm-hmm. So, this is a very interesting interview. I hate to say that though, because they all are. I feel like when I say that I'm lessening the
previous ones.
Yeah, and I'm not, because they're all awesome. Y'all are all awesome. So listen to this.
You ready to get to listening?
Get to listening.
All right, here we go.
All right.
But first, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
And it's not Roomba or Things Remembered.
There is a way to save your sanity and your relationship, and it's called the Nacho Kids Academy. In the Nacho Kids Academy, you will learn the skills and knowledge to properly nacho, techniques to handle step-family challenges, ways to improve your communication, and much, much more. Visit NachoKidsAcademy.com and sign up today to join other step parents who are seeing the life-changing benefits of nachoing. Again, that's NachoKidsAcademy.com.
Today, we have stepmom Casey. How are you today, Casey?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Hey, Casey. We're doing good.
Good.
David's got the giggles. So tell us a little bit about your blend. How long have you been blending?
We have been blending for approximately 4.4 years.
Not that you're counting, right?
Nope, not at all. And I have stepson 11, stepdaughter 9, stepson 9, and stepdaughter 7.
So you have twins?
Yes, he has twins. And then I also have twins.
What?
Yeah, I have a biological 11 daughter, another 11 daughter, and 10 daughter.
Nice.
Yeah, we're all crammed in there.
I don't think that we've had someone that had twin stepkids and twin bio kids.
I know, that's unusual.
So and you have 0 hour kids, right?
Correct.
I would hope so.
I refuse to go down that path.
You'd have to get like a different driver's license to drive a different kind of vehicle.
It would have to be something special, yeah.
Put them on the back of a tractor trailer truck.
I know. Commercial farm vehicle or something.
Yep. But then, we would blend in a little bit more in Utah. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, the farm vehicles in Utah. Duh.
It's not just a Southern thing, honey.
Sorry, my brain's struggling today. So you've got 7 kids total.
Yes.
Wow. And I thought 5 about drove me nuts.
Oh,
yeah,
sister.
So how do you get around when you have? I guess there'd be 9 people total. Most places or most vehicles, a maximum of 8.
Yeah, we have a Suburban that has the bench seating in all 3 rows. So
okay. So somebody just doesn't get a seatbelt.
No, we have 9 seats. We have 9 seatbelts. It's awesome. It makes our car shopping a little bit more difficult, but.
Yeah, well, it makes it more difficult, but you think about it, the kids can't come out with a whole lot because you don't have room to put it.
Nope.
So nobody can buy anything big.
Nope.
Well, and you surely can't take everybody grocery shopping.
Oh, I do online shopping.
There you go. Yeah. We got the Amazon queen sitting over here. Every day I come home, there's a box sitting there from somebody named Amazon.
Yeah, that's what
I try to tell him, though, I save money that way because if I go to Walmart to buy toilet paper, I end up buying a bunch of crap I don't need.
Exactly.
Whereas if I go on Amazon and order it, then boom, all you get is toilet paper.
You have exactly what you need. Nothing more.
That's not true because there's still stuff that you shouldn't be ordering.
So how often do you have your stepkids?
We have his kids. Let's see. We have them 3 days a week. So they go with her 4 days. They're with us 3 days.
And what about your kids?
And right now we are right in the middle of a court battle. So right now, yes, right now I have him 9 days. He has him 5 days.
Now the 4 days and 3 days, does that rotate?
No, it just depends on my husband's schedule. He is a police officer, so he has the 3 days off. So whatever his schedule is the days that he has off is we have his kids.
So is he doing the 12-hour shifts where it's 2 on 2 off, 2 on 3 off?
No, he works 4 days a week and he does just 4 10s.
Oh, okay.
So I take it that bio mom is pretty flexible.
Yep.
As far as that's good. That's
yeah. Good. Yeah. They luckily their whole entire process has been pretty okay, with other than the arguments and stuff like that. But, she's from the get-go. He's always been in law enforcement, so it's always had to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, do you find that works a little bit to your favor that he's in law enforcement because she can't get too crazy?
Nope. Not at all.
It doesn't work at all.
Nope. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It can just be as crazy as all gets out, or they can be decent. It just depends. It really depends.
It just depends. So
I'm guessing on the phases of the moon.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's got a little bit of drama going on, but not too bad, it sounds like. And I guess you've got some drama going on as well.
Yes. His is getting better it seems like each and every couple of months. It seems to be getting better on his end. Mine started out great and mine's getting worse. So
I hate that. And court is so stressful.
Oh, yeah.
What would you attribute at yours getting? I mean, obviously it's got something to do with custody, but typically a lot of times it's something other than that. Custody just kind of comes into play. So what would you say is the reason yours is starting to get worse?
When we got divorced, it just all kind of worked out and we agreed with a lot of things. Now that the kids are getting older, he wanted to redo the custody or redo the divorce decree where it granted him. Okay, I'm just going to lay it. He just wanted to pay less child support is what it came down to.
that's what I was more. Either you was going to get to it or I was going to get to it.
Yeah, he just wants to pay less child support. And I said, okay. And I've already decreased it twice on my own without having to use the courts or anything. So the third time I just said, well, okay, we can go ahead and look at decreasing the child support, but I think we need to rediscuss our days with the kids. The kids are getting older. They're preteens right now. It might be a good idea. They're starting to get really into their friends and extracurricular activities right by their school. They go to school at my house, and he didn't want to have to deal with that. He doesn't want to agree with that. So
are you wanting him to have less time?
See, what we were doing, the divorce decree says that he has up to 160 days. Then when they were about 4 years old, he came back into the state. To make a long story short, he came back into the state. And I said, you know what, it might be an okay time to, have them see you a little more often. What kind of schedule would you like? We agreed that would be 7 on, 7 off. So just every other week. And then now that they're getting a little bit older, kids are starting to want to stay around our house a little bit more. So that's why I was like, okay, well, what if we did me 9 days and you 5 days? And he's like, absolutely not. And so he just went ahead and went to the attorney and served me. And then it's been 1.5 years now. So yeah, okay. Long story short.
Yeah. Apparently he wants to throw away more money than you do.
Uh-huh. And I'm getting ticked. So
I think you might have my baby daddy.
Oh, geez. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard the phrase of every penny you get in child support will go to attorney's fees because you're not getting a dime from me.
Right.
Joy, happy.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
So have you already been to court for this time around, like a pretrial or a temporary?
We actually have a pretrial coming up on the 2nd.
Okay. I know in South Carolina, they're trying to implement this thing that once you start the trial process, it has to be finished within 365 days.
Well, that would be, I don't know if that's horrible or if that's good.
It's both.
Yeah, because I can't see myself doing this for a whole nother year. But if I have to, if it's for my kids, I will. So,
yeah, exactly. I really wish the court systems were different. And I don't know what they're like in Utah, but here, I mean, you have to get an attorney for everything, and it's so costly. And then you've got the pretrial, the temporary order, the next step, then you've got the final order, and then, oh, well, you can appeal that. And it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. I was super fortunate that I didn't have to do any of that. We had the original agreement drawn up, and then I think we went back to court one more time because she wasn't paying her half of medical expenses and things like that in a reasonable time, unless you count 3 years as being reasonable. But but that's it. I didn't have to go back and fight over custody. Even though the custody changed, we were able to kind of do it on our own and still kind of keep it within the boundaries of the agreement. We just fought over everything else.
And let's see, I was in court the first 6 years of my son's life.
Yeah, geez. It was crazy.
Yeah. Could put that kid through Harvard by now.
Right?
It's like you're working a part-time job just to cover your attorney's fees.
But I've had to.
Yeah. Well, luckily the judge saw through some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And made him pay a good bit of my attorney's fees. So
that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
You had to get a second job to pay for attorney's fees?
Yep. I'm just, any child support that I get right now, I'm just stashing it as much as I can, and went and got a second job and stashing that as much as I can. So it's been crazy. It's been hard.
Yeah. It's crazy when your emergency fund is not in case, the car breaks or you need a new heat and air unit. It's because somebody might take you to court.
Yep. That's exactly what we're at right now. So,
well, when you approached him with the 9 days and 5-day thing, did you maybe suggest that child support wouldn't have to change?
I suggested, I said, we can go ahead and relook at the child support for the third time. And I don't have a problem doing that. I basically was the approach of, will you please consider the kids' needs at this point, and having them stay with me just those extra couple of days. His other fight is that he has to drive so much because he lives about 25 minutes away from where I am. So when he does have the kids, he has to drive that to that commute to take them to school every morning. So I completely understand that. So when I came up with this 9 days for me and 5 days for him, that eliminated 2 days or 4 days a month that he would have to travel and make that commute, which was going to save him a lot of that money too. So he's just not kind of seeing, the overall benefit that I'm actually, I was like, okay, well then that also takes my kids off the streets for 4 days a month as well, and I don't know. I don't understand. I'm trying to help him understand that, but no, it's just about the money. It's all about the money. So.
Yeah. Well, I can remember times when I had arguments where she was working a night shift. She was getting the kids, literally not even seeing them 10 minutes. And she'd have them for the whole weekend. And I'm like, why don't you just let them stay here?
Right.
And that just wasn't an option. Even though I was like, look, I can bring them over there and you can spend time with them and I can bring them back. That way they're not, literally had teenage boys staying by themselves overnight, which they never did anything crazy that I know of.
Right.
But I know if it had been me, I'd been throwing parties and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd had to get up, sometimes I'd go over there at night just to see if they had anybody over there. Luckily they lived in an apartment complex. So I think, that kind of helped because I think some of the other people being around kind of kept them at bay.
Yeah.
So anyway, what other stressors do you have going on besides the court system and the exes?
Let's see. Right now we're kind of okay. There's been a couple of things that's happened in the court system that kind of have I've been granted a couple of things, so that's kind of released some of the stress. But I think probably the biggest thing is just seeing the way that my husband parents has been really, really hard. And that's why I'm so grateful that I kind of stumbled upon nachoing. And I've been nachoing for about a year and a half, but I didn't know what it was until only July. I just didn't realize what I was doing that actually had a name to it, if that makes any sense. So about a year and a half ago, I just realized that, I just need to take myself out of this and I need to keep my mouth shut. And for the sake of everybody, I'm just going to disengage. And it took a little bit to get used to, but then I actually went to South Carolina in July, and my friend lives there. And then I went to go visit my niece who just barely moved there. And my friend Kelly was telling me all about it. She's like, let me tell you about this. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, it's called Nacho. And she just went through the whole gamut. I said, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't know this existed. And it was like the best revelation ever. So.
Wow.
Well, that's funny because we're in South Carolina.
I know. And that's what was so cool. So, but I get to come out to South Carolina every now and again. So, I hope to actually meet you guys one of these days.
Definitely. What part do you go to?
Charleston. It's a little bit far
we can
away.
Go to Charleston.
Yeah.
We have we'll travel.
Yeah. Road trip.
Right. That's awesome. So
yeah, I love Charleston.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite different from where I come from, but I just, the trees are amazing. So
trees are amazing.
That's funny. Yeah. We have a lot of trees. In fact, where we live, that's all you can see is trees. Yep. We can't even see our neighbors.
Right. Yeah.
I love trees.
Yeah. So let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
With your, with you not liking how he's parenting. Can you give me an example of what you're not liking about it?
His follow through doesn't exist. It's getting better. But what I was having such a big problem with then was, he'd say, okay, well, I'm taking away your phones. And then he wouldn't. And I'm like, what? And then, I think one of the hardest things was like potty training. So we've been doing this for a really long time, it seems like. And when we're still, our youngest is 7. And we're just barely getting to the point where that's not an issue anymore. And that was really hard because it was hard not to compare. My own children were totally potty trained at 2.5. And so it was just like, okay, I got to reframe my thinking a little bit. These are not the same kids, So just little things that just start adding up to be just huge. Handling the bio mom was a little bit hard. I just kind of ran into an instance last Saturday where she came trucking through my house.
What?
So I really had to nacho. So I don't know if you guys.
Let's go back to that. She came trucking through your house.
Yeah.
So like she just walks in and does her thing?
But I was nachoing. I was doing everything I could. But no.
Is this normal?
Not really for her to walk through my house, but her logic way of thinking is just not normal. So my stepson had a football game. Well, he's super, super forgetful. He forgot like most of his stuff. So she came back and with my stepdaughter. So she came into the house to try to find some of the stuff. Well, I had already found it because husband had just said, hey, can you go find this for me? Sure. Absolutely. Here it is. This is where it's laying. So stepdaughter comes in. She didn't know that I had already found it and set it by the front door. So she comes through, tries to find the stuff. Well, she goes back out to her mom. Now, it's important to note that my car is sitting in the driveway. Garage door is open. There is a front door. She has my phone number. But so that every indication that I'm home. And then the next thing I hear is both of their voices. And I'm upstairs. I hear both of their voices downstairs. And then they finally see where I'd left the stuff, and then they just walk out the door and leave. So my daughter comes in. She's like, did you know that she was in the house? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you okay with that? I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah. Inside, you're like, heck no, I'm not okay with it.
Okay. So I just sent a text to my husband. I just let him know that this is what happened. And I don't understand her logic. You know, my car was out there. I'm home. She has my phone number. Don't know why she needed to be in the house, but whatever.
No.
For all those bio moms out there that think it's okay to go trucking through somebody else's house, that's a no-no.
I don't get it, but
Yeah. No, I mean, even the few times when I was invited into my ex's house because the kids,
she was trying to lure him into the bedroom.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, like I would take my kids. I had 4 kids to drop off, and they had all these book bags and all this other stuff. So I would help them, take stuff into the house. But I would get like 6 inches into the doorway, and I would set stuff down and turn around and walk out. I mean,
that's one thing.
I just did not want to be in that house.
Yeah.
Period.
Front doorstep, maybe the front entry, great, whatever, whatever you need to do. But going through my garage, opening the door, coming through the main part of my house, down the stairs to stepson's room, I'm not okay.
I'll be booby trapping some stuff.
Well, it is a little bit better than I originally thought, because I didn't know she came in with your stepdaughter. I was thinking she just pulls up and just walks up in the house.
Right. Yeah. So she did have an escort, but all the same matter. I'm home. She knows I'm home, and she has my phone number.
Yeah. That still doesn't make it all right.
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking it's a good thing that her and stepdaughter didn't go, yeah, let me show you this crap over here. Let me show you this.
Right.
Go digging through your panty drawer or something.
Then I would have interviewed or intervened. I would have said something at that point.
Now, is the house did she used to live there?
No, this is me and my husband's house. Yeah.
Wow. That's even crazier.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to look on the inside. This is my chance.
To be honest, I don't know what her thinking is. So
apparently she's not.
Right?
Yeah, that can happen too.
Yeah. So just little things like that.
We actually had an instance where we advised the bio mom that she's not welcome to even drive down our driveway.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was at the pinnacle of the fighting, I think. That's when we had to get the police involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to sit around the table and have dinner with your kids when the police are outside with their mom.
Yeah, that is true.
And we're like, stop running to the window and looking. Eat your dinner.
Right.
And the kids are like, man, there's a popo.
Yeah, they're going to lock my mom up.
Well, and that, maybe. You mentioned some kind of, as you mentioned that brings up some flashbacks. So of when I was a stepchild, and when my bio mom would come and pick me up, and it was just so dysfunctional that we did have to have the police there. And it had to be at my step grandmother's house is where my mom was allowed to pick me up, because of the commotion and the problems that would go between my dad and my mom, that they just completely had to remove that, and pick up and drop off was at my step grandma's house, and always a police escort. So
really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because now the cops will be like, oh, we ain't doing that.
Right. Yep. And they were just there for just support, but, to a little 6-year-old kid, it was like, why are they here?
It's almost getting to the point where you can open a business up where it's just a place where you drop off your kids and the other person come, 10 minutes later and pick them up.
Yeah.
Just so the parents never come across each other.
Yeah. But that's
it's check your kid in here, and then the other person comes in and checks them out.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. But, on the flip side, where we're trying to help these kids, function and actually try to have some kind of decent interaction with each other, you know, I mean, that just goes completely out the window, but in some cases it has to be. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we laugh when I go drop my son off. There's like 4 other cars there.
Yeah, it's like there's a couple places in town where you can guarantee on Sunday evening there'll be at least a handful of cars in these parking lots where people are picking up and dropping off stepkids and bio kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So you're a stepkid.
I am.
And how old were you when your parents split up?
I think I was 2 when they split and 4 when the divorce was final.
And when did you get step-parents?
Let's see, when I was 6. Well, let me back up. My mom, so my mom has had several. So I've had a few stepdads. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So it's kind of like now I'm digging deep into my childhood here. So I think my official one was when I was about 6.
Okay.
Yep. And then, so that was my stepmom when I was about 6. And then my mom first after that was somewhere around that same time, I think.
Okay. Now, you probably don't even remember a time when you were in a bio family then.
No.
Now, how did this play into your decision to become a stepmom?
Freaked me out.
What was your relationship like with your stepmom and your stepdad?
My stepmom, it was kind of one of those things where my mom was she just wasn't a good parent. She was my mom, and I knew that she was my mom, and I wanted to go see her because she was my mom. But I just, reflecting back, I just knew that, I mean, it's hard for a 6-year-old to kind of understand that. But reflecting back, I understand what my dad and my stepmom were trying to do because they recognized that she wasn't the best example for me. And so my stepmom, it was kind of more like, you can call me mommy, and she would say mommy and then her name. So it was mommy, her name.
Dearest.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't want to put her name on here. But so yeah, it was mommy. And I remember I didn't like that because I knew clearly that who my mom was, and I did feel uncomfortable with that. And I only did that. I only said that because I knew that that's what she wanted. But I knew that she had the best interest for me at heart. I knew that. But there was so much back talking about, behind my mom's back, and jokes that were said about my mom, and that was hard. That was hard even
in front of you.
Yeah, it was very, very sly. It was very sly. So by this time, it was maybe I was around 8 years old or so. And I remember picking up on some of those things where, it kind of made me feel uncomfortable, but I would just kind of like, and just, I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't have the guts to say anything to you either. So
you bring up a really good point, which is it really doesn't matter how crappy the bio mom is, the child still looks to that person as their mom, period.
Yep.
And a stepmom, like you said, stepmom comes in and they have all the best intentions, probably, but you still can't be the mom.
Right.
And it causes, like you said, it causes problems because now you feel like you're torn between, I don't want to pick between my mom and my stepmom. And so you're kind of going back and forth mentally and emotionally.
Right.
And then you're having to call her mommy, whatever, because that's what she asked you to call her.
Yeah. And my dad never really kind of stepped in saying, no, I'm not okay with that or whatever. But it was kind of interesting that happened to me. And when my husband and I started blending, his youngest at the time was like a year old. And there was one time that, and we weren't married at that time, but we were now dating and we were kind of trying to make it work and things like that. And I remember him saying one time that this is going to be your new mom. And I go, no, because that flashback came back, and I'm just like, they have a mom. And I said that right then and there. I said, no, they have a mom. I am here to just do whatever I need to do, kind of thing, and no, let's make that clear. And he's like, and he apologized right then and there. He's like, okay, so I was very glad that I made that clear based on the experience that I had, because I did not want my stepkids to ever have that confusion going on. So.
Well, I know if I would have been a kid and my dad would have said, "This is going to be your new mom," I'd be like, "Well, what'd you do with my old one?"
Right. Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
He could have probably found a better way to phrase that.
I think so too.
Yeah. No, I think when I introduced Lori, it was like, here's your dad's new hottie.
Right?
Yeah, there was never any talk about this being a replacement for your mom or surrogate or anything else. It was, this is for me.
Yeah. Yep.
You're so stupid.
No, but actually he makes sense, because the way that me and my husband, the way that our personalities mesh together, that would have been so much better for us. Just because we are sarcastic people, we are goofy, we do that, and so it would have been, I honestly think that that something like that would have been much better than what was said. But I'm glad that it did happen, so I could set that boundary right then and there. So
yes, that's true.
Yeah, the reason why you hear Lori have that nervous laugh is because the kids made a song up.
Oh, geez.
And it was kind of about that. I won't go into it, but it was hilarious. Maybe I'll do it after we turn off the recording.
Well, it started because their mama said that. Yeah. Oh, your daddy's got him a hottie.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's the only thing I agreed with her on for all those years.
Oh, geez.
We even joked about getting them shirts that said "My stepmom is a hottie."
Yeah, I was like, that might be pushing it a little much.
Well, no, it's so funny how you guys talk, because around my house is, it was kind of just funny how it kind of all happened, because we are sarcastic and we are joking and we have lots and lots of laughs, and it did come across one day that we were at dinner, and I don't remember even how it started, but somebody said hot stepmama, and it just now it's hot daddy, and it's just fun. It's really kind of funny how it kind of all emerged, and what you guys talk about is, we have a little relation going on here. But anyway.
Yeah. We've always found a way to cut up with stuff, because you have to.
Yes.
You can't take everything so serious or you'll be miserable.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, if you want your kids and stepkids, if you want everybody to kind of find a common ground to meet on, a lot of times it's around the comic relief of things and finding ways to cut up and have fun. And when you can do that, they are much more engaging with you.
Right.
Yeah, I know the stepkids and I used to play the roast each other game.
Yeah, and I think they love that for a couple of reasons. One is because it gave them a free pass to talk junk about their stepmom.
Right.
And then it gave her a free pass to talk junk about them, because they were roasting each other. It's a game, right? And
then they saw how awesome I was, because my roasts were so much better.
Yeah. It sounds crazy, but I honestly think that was part of it. It was part of how they ended up bonding, because it gave them, through a game, they were able to kind of let out some frustrations verbally, but yet all in fun.
Yeah.
And so I honestly think it was almost therapeutic for them to play that game.
Completely. That's how it is. I couldn't agree with you more on that. That's how our household has been able to probably survive in conjunction with Nacho.
But how do your kids and his kids get along?
Wonderful. They get along better when all 7 of them are together, rather than if it's just his 4 or my 3. It's really, really interesting. And they're all so close. They are all just so close. I mean, it's almost like we have triplets. We've got 3 11-year-olds. And then my youngest daughter is only 5 months older than his twins. So, I mean, they are very cohesive, and they're buddies. they're really good buddies, and I couldn't have asked for more. If anything that I'm just proud of is just that they can, because I've been that step sibling that I just absolutely hated going.
Yeah. That's awesome that they get along.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel sorry for stepdaughter 7.
She finds her way to wiggle her way in there somehow.
Yeah. So I'm sure you get a bunch of turning heads looking at you when you go anywhere, really.
Yes, we have a really funny experience. We just barely took all the kids down to Florida just this last year. And on the flight there, on the travel there was flawless. On the way back, we missed a couple of flights. We had some Home Alone moments where we're running through the airport, all 9 of us. And so it was great. And there was, oh my gosh, I wish I had my phone recording all of the people just watching us run through the Michigan airport.
Well, they're wondering if they should start running too.
I know. It's like, you see 9 people running. That's not a family. That's, it's a riot happening or something.
Well, there was even one comment like, did the whole plane miss their flight?
That's funny.
It was good times. We have some.
That reminds me of when I have triplets. And so when they were really small, we were in Florida on vacation. I recall them being, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years old. And so I take them, and I literally I'm carrying all 3 of them, and I go out to the pool, and I'm going into the pool water with them. And I swear to you, every female in the pool got out of the pool. And I just busted out laughing. It was like, look, I'm not so potent that you're going to get knocked up in the pool water. Oh what are y'all doing?
Stay away from him.
They were probably afraid your kids were going to pee in the pool.
I don't know what it was, but it was just like craziest thing I ever seen.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because usually women are drawn to men with babies.
Yeah, no, they were like, dude, this guy, keep him away from me.
Oh, that's awesome.
They might have thought you were kidnapping kids. You had so many of them.
I know. That was my workout back then, is carrying all these kids around.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine having 3 at one time.
Yeah. We used to remember that time, Lori and I were together. We went to Myrtle Beach one time, and we were they had a pool attached to the place where we're at. And so the kids would literally line up behind me so that I could pick them up and throw them in the pool. And it was assembly line, just constant, just pick them up, throw them in the pool, pick them up, throw them in the pool, pick them up, throw them in the pool. And it just went on for like 30 minutes. And finally I'm like, I got to stop. I am literally wore out.
Right.
Well, didn't other kids start to get in line?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like I was the amusement park person there, Mm-hmm. But that's how my kids always were. I mean, even when they were small, it was take them and flip them around and put them inside of blankets and spinning them around and things like that. So we just did all kind of stuff.
That's awesome. That's great.
He drove me crazy when he started doing that crap with my son.
Oh yeah, she's like, "You're gonna kill him. You're gonna kill him."
No, but this is so fun.
Oh, I know. He was loving it, and she's she still does it. He's 14 years old. Just the other day, I was showing him something, and
oh yeah, he was showing him how to mash somebody's throat to where they can't talk or cough or something.
Hey, self-defense. We got to learn this.
So,
well, he teaches them plenty, that's for sure.
Well, he wanted to know how I did it because he's like, that was crazy. How did you do that to me?
Right.
And so I was showing him, and she's like, stop hurting him. I'm like, I'm not hurting him. I'm teaching him.
You're going to break his trach thingamajiggy.
No.
And so then my son's trying to do it to himself.
I told him, I said, look, don't do it to yourself. Just go to school and find somebody to do it to. And then
Bad example.
Girl, this is the same guy that offered my kid $1,000 if he made all D's on his report card.
What? And here I am, a school counselor. No.
Yeah, that was I can't remember. I think she said, like, I'll give you $100 if you make straight A's all year or something like that. I don't know what it was. And I was like, I'll give you $1,000 to make straight D's.
Oh, geez. But you really do actually have to try to make bad grades. You do have to try that. Yeah. I don't understand how,
especially if you're going to try to get D's and everything.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do, to actually get that bad of grades.
Yeah, because you can do nothing to make F's, but you got to do a little bit of effort to make D's.
Right.
That's probably pretty hard.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm telling you, don't wonder why I'm crazy. Just don't wonder.
I was testing his integrity.
Uh-huh.
Will he sell out for $1,000? He didn't, so I'm proud of him.
Oh, that's good.
That reminds me. Remember we did something? A Facebook Live with Branson, one of the triplets, and he had cheated on one of his tests or copied somebody's homework. And I was telling him that was wrong. And he said, no, I'm utilizing my ability to think outside the box or
yeah, something like that. He had some excuse for it. Okay, so let's get back to your drama. We went down our roads here.
Thanks for focusing on my drama.
You are very blessed that your kids and stepkids get along, though, because, oh, Lord, honey.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard some of the podcast.
Yes, I definitely have. And I firsthand, I know how messy it can get, as, from my experience. And just, I am very, very grateful.
So I'm going to take you back to the issue that you're having with your husband and his parenting or lack thereof. Do you find that there's a reason for that? Do you see any things that you can kind of point to and say, well, I understand why he's doing that? Not that you agree with it, but you understand why he's doing it.
Nope. I still don't. I still have not been able to come to that point yet where I have understood why he's doing what he's doing. But again, I just have to remind myself they're not my problem. And he's going to parent the way that he's going to parent. And I will parent my children the way I'm going to parent. And that's where my focus starts to happen, is just, okay, just worry about your own kids and we'll just go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we like to say that they're not your responsibility because they can absolutely be your problem.
That is true. That is true. Yes, they can. Yes.
Well, and we see a lot of stepmoms say, well, he doesn't make his kids, do chores. And so I'm not going to make my kids do chores. And I'm like, why are you lowering your expectations for your kids because he has none for his?
Yeah. And that was, for me, that's never, that was always a non-negotiable. My kids will always be doing chores. They will always have something that they need to be doing. And whether or not he chooses to have his kids do chores, then fine. We had when we moved into this house that we bought to accommodate all of our children, that's a whole nother story. But
I bet you got a mansion, girl.
we had to upgrade. We went from a 2,400 square foot house to now a 3,800 square foot house. And so each kid has their own bedroom. They have their own space. And the whole reason for that was I started to get the feeling that I was just being so crammed. And we had 3 kids in one bedroom and everybody was sharing a bedroom. And I looked at my husband one day and I said, if you expect me to survive the teenage years, you've got to get me a different house because I cannot do this. And so that has helped a ton, having their own space where they can go to. But when we got this new house, I made a chore chart where there was going to be a menu that I was going to plan out the menus, and everybody could see what they were going to have. So I didn't have that endless, when's dinner? What are we having? And no, you could just see it. Well, then the chore chart was right next to it. And and they
never saw that part.
Right. So they knew where their chore was. But then the problem that I was running into is I was assigning the chores for every single one of the kids. And so we've been in our house a little over 2 years. And that was part of the problem that was starting to happen, was that I was nitpicking on, who hasn't done their chore and who has, and then trying to keep track of 7 children and what messes and who made what. And so finally there was a point.
You were chore patrol.
Oh my gosh, it was just a nightmare. And I just realized, I finally realized of how much that was damaging me by trying to be that patrol person. And so finally I just stopped writing chores on the board. I mean, it's the chore chart's still there, but there's no names on it. And because I got sick and tired of it. I got sick and tired of making sure that my kids did it and then finding that his kids didn't. And then I would drive myself crazy. And then me and my husband would just get in a big old fight about it. And then those kids would go home and then my kids would have to pick up those chores. And, so I was just like, whatever, I'm done with this. And how much of a relief that has been so far that I'm not trying to control that so much anymore. So, and that's been a huge help with the relationship between me and my skids too. So,
but you still make your kids do chores.
I still
They're
make,
just not written down.
Yes, I still make. I now write just my kids' chores down now. So my kids know what they're doing, and then if husband wants to assign his kids chores, then he does it, and then I just don't worry about it.
So with the kids so close and getting along so well, do you find that peer pressure helps with that, or do some of the step kids jump in and help your bio kids with their chores?
Not really. He has one girl, our little 9-year-old. She's just, her and I get along really, really well. But just her personality alone is, I will take care of my stuff. She is very clean. She's organizing her room all the time. She's always jumping in, recognizing what needs to be done. And I just do everything that I possibly can to reward her for that, or tell her good job and thank you for helping and whatever. The others, they're oblivious.
Yeah, you need to make her the chore administrative assistant.
Right.
So I'm sure you have your kids that say, well, why don't they have to do chores?
They do. But I really just try to shut that down as fast as I can, saying, you know what, I'm not in charge of them. I am in charge of what I would like you to do around the house to help out. And I really just kind of try to turn that focus to help them understand that this is my non-negotiable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're their parent. You get to choose what chores they do or what chores they don't do and things like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when they get out in the real world, they'll find out that they'll go to a job and there'll be people that are getting paid and not doing work.
Right.
And they're like, wait a minute, this is just like it was back at home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I think
I just don't know what to say today.
This conversation is quite interesting. I love it.
Yeah, it's always fun. That's for sure. Well, you said your husband likes to laugh and stuff too. So, tell him that he can join us too and he can see what we were doing.
Right. Maybe
she's like, no,
not this time. Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time. We'll be here, girl. Anytime. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story with us and being a guest.
No problem.
And we have really enjoyed talking to you. And again, be so thankful that your stepkids and bio kids get along. You don't have to worry about them trying to kill each other and all that stuff.
They haven't hit their teenage years yet, though. We're almost there. We're January. They're going to be in their, 12 years of old age. And so we'll see how the teenage years go.
Oh, I just made a note to contact Casey in 2 years.
In 2 more years? Yeah.
Yep. See how we're doing then.
Yeah, those teenage years, boy. Whew, Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of believe that if you don't see them kind of going sideways by 12, typically the teenage years are not going to be too bad, as long as you can make sure they're not too influential.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids hit all teenage years, and I mean, I think they were a walk in the park compared to 99% of the other kids out there.
Right.
How about my kid again?
I did not say anything about your kid, but if you brought him up, we can talk about
it.
Well, Casey has 3 that are getting ready to turn 12, so this will be the telltale year.
Yep, it will be.
Yeah.
I'm hoping how close to 3. So I have twin girls, and then it's his oldest. It's a boy. I'm just hoping that the way that they are now does their relationship just kind of thrives from each other, and they just kind of stick together. That's what I'm hoping
Mhm.
for, but there's always that big fear that, they're going to be their individual person and then we're going to have a big mess somehow, but one day at a time.
Yeah, well, you've been blending for a little bit over 4 years, so I think kind of what you see the interaction with them now, it probably won't change too much. I mean, they may drift apart during
Right.
16, 17, whatever, but then they'll get back together when they get
I
older.
hope so. I just hope that they just kind of stay tight with each other, but but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as far as your husband's parenting, if you haven't look into guilty parenting syndrome and see
Yes.
if that's something that might be happening.
I do think that
y-
is. I really do.
Yeah, because I know with me, the kids would come to the house and it's like, okay, it's the first day or so I'm giving them a little bit more leeway.
Yeah.
And then, by the end of the week, okay, now they're going back to their mom's
Mhm.
tomorrow. So now I'm giving them a lot of leniency. And so there's really only a couple of days a week where I was really parenting them the way I probably should have been doing it the whole time, because I'm always giving them all this leeway
Yeah.
all the time. And then, of course, you throw in all these other factors that, they had a bad day at school, or they got other.
They hated their stepmama.
Yeah.
Or Lori's causing problems. And so I have to overcompensate because she's causing issues.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was marrying this woman who's crazy.
Yeah.
Don't throw anything at me.
Well, luckily, since I have been, I feel like I've been successful doing Nacho. I really would like to take your guys' class, but I've kind of got some financial things coming up soon that I just kind of throwing everything towards this court thing. But since I have been doing the Nacho, I have been seeing, some very, very good things come from it. That my husband is now starting to pick up on some things. Like the other day he said, I think so and so might be a compulsive liar. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Oh.
well, what? I'm
Yeah.
like, I could have told you that 2 years ago. But,
But no, you can't
but I
tell him.
can't.
He's got to find it.
Yeah. So it's just been little things
Yeah.
like that. And then the other thing was that he said to me most recent is, if these are my kids' Doritos smashed in the carpet again, I'm going to lose my mind. And so it's just little things like that I'm like, okay, now he's starting to kind of see that his kids might have some things that he needs to deal with.
Right. And he would have never seen those if you would not have started Nacho.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of myself and thank you. Sometimes I don't Nacho very well on some things, but others I think I've been doing pretty good.
Well, it's a learning process, and nachoing's fluid. One day you might need a nacho, one day you might not.
Right.
And you've got as many stepkids as I had, so one day it was one kid, and one day it was the next.
Yep.
Some days it was everybody.
Yep. That's right.
You nacho the things that cause you stress.
That is right.
Yep. And right now what's causing her stress is the game she's waiting on to play.
Right.
Because she's sitting in the car. She's waiting to go to the game.
Right. It's actually my daughter's.
Yeah.
It's my daughter's game. So.
Oh, then it's okay then.
Yeah, we're good.
If it's a stepkids game, it's like, oh my gosh, hurry up.
Well, I do have one quick question
Sure.
before we let you go. You had all girls,
Yes.
and you acquired 2 stepdaughters and 2 stepsons.
Yes.
Do you think it's easier raising boys or girls?
I don't think I can honestly answer that because the 2 boys are not biologically mine. So I've
Good answer. Good answer.
so I only know how to raise girls.
Okay, so now I have one.
Sure.
Do you love your stepkids like your own?
No, absolutely not. I care for them
Good.
deeply.
Alright.
I care for them deeply.
Mhm.
But there is no love like my own bio babies. So
Right.
True.
Yep, I agree 100%. And it's still funny that people will fight tooth and nail about that comment. But you just can't.
mhm.
Well, I say you can't. It's funny that even the people who say that they love them like their own will then still say something that kind of contradicts what they just said.
Mhm.
Well, I had a lady one time that said, well, I love them like my own. I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, if there was a train coming, your stepkid's standing there, your bio kid's standing there, and you can only save one, which one are you going to save? She said, well, my bio kid. I said, bam.
Yeah. Yep. You're going to do everything
Yep.
you can. Yeah.
I'm just going to grab both of them and say, here we go.
Mhm.
Yep. And I love my stepkids.
Right.
Now, as you know, in the beginning, I did not. And that's okay. It takes time. And some people may never bond with their stepkids. And again, that's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about that. People are different. Not everybody likes everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's
No,
for sure.
I mean, I don't even think I feel the same about my own 4 biological kids. It kind of fluctuates from time to time, because one of them can make me mad. It doesn't have anything to do with how I love them. I love them all unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't always like them.
Right.
I just pray they never listen to this.
They don't always like me either. I mean, it's a kid and parent relationship.
Yeah.
So, and I don't make any bones about it. I mean, I had one of my kids asked me to do something a few weeks ago, and I would not do it. And it was something that could have got him in big trouble if I was not on his side. And I said, I'm not on your side. Sorry.
Right.
And that was a proud wife moment.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to let Casey go. She's got to go to the ball field.
Okay. Well, stop talking.
Well, that's okay. It doesn't start for another 10 minutes.
It takes us that long to wrap up.
Right.
All right, Casey. Well, we definitely appreciate it, and we will check back with you in the future, I'm sure, and see that everything's going great, and your husband is doing all his nachoing and understands what you're doing. As a matter of fact, you should probably ask the judge to make your ex pay for your Nacho Kids Academy membership.
Yes.
Just couldn't put that in there.
You're
Oh my gosh.
brilliant. Just brilliant.
Oh my gosh. No, you didn't, Casey.
Hold on, I'm writing that down.
I will edit that part
I
out.
will make him pay for everything that I possibly can.
There you go.
All right. Well, now that we come down to the brilliant part, we'll just go ahead and let her go.
Right?
Well, all right.
All right. Casey, thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Tell you what, if your ex came trucking through my house, it would have been a bad day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Go trucking through somebody's house.
Mm-mm.
Even if we got along, don't go trucking through my house.
Mm-mm. I remember one time maybe when I dropped my kids off, one of them was like, I want to show you something I got or something like that. I'm like,
Well, remember when they wanted to show their mom the upstairs when we redid the upstairs for their rooms and everything?
Yes.
So all they did was end up videoing it and sending it anyway.
Well, that's fine. Even though I didn't like that, but still. No,
Yeah.
you ain't going to come up in here.
We do hear a lot about people talk about, I don't want my stepkid FaceTiming or taking pictures and putting them on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever of my house. Well, unless your significant other is going to do something about that, you're best not to say anything, because if you say something, they're just going to keep doing it because they know it drives you crazy.
That is a possibility.
It's a definite. I learned that with your kids.
Your own kid does that.
I did it as a kid.
You do it to me now.
Okay. David. Why are you so mean to me just because it's December? Don't forget, 4 more shopping days.
Oh my goodness.
That's all you got. 4 days.
Thank goodness. It's almost over. Hang in there, folks.
Go buy your significant other some nachos.
Need to do some Nacho Kids underwear for your significant other.
Y'all, leave us a comment. Do you want some Nacho Kids underwear? That just sounds nasty.
I didn't say lingerie.
I didn't say lingerie, but I'm thinking of tidy whities that says Nacho Kids on the butt of them. Oh, Lord, no. We're not doing that.
What do you mean, no?
No, we'll have to come up with something.
Yeah, but see, I think it's a great idea.
Of course you do, David.
Because then every time you ask me to do something
You
to
thought
you,
marrying your ex-wife was a great idea, too.
well, she wasn't my ex. She wasn't my ex when I married her, but anyway. Okay, let's get on past that.
Ooh, I think a lot of things were covered during this interview that are very important, like the stepmom wanting her to call her mommy.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think that's ever a good idea, to have your stepkid call you mommy, or mom or mother, maybe mother dearest. I'm kidding. But if your stepkid's young and they start calling you mom or mommy, you need to say something like, no, I'm your whatever. I mean, you can come up with a crazy name, something, but don't take that mommy name because you're not mommy.
Yeah, but it's going to cause problems, or it can cause problems. Let's just say it that way. Because I know if my kids would have come back home and been like, I'm calling stepdad dad, I'd be like, what do you mean? No.
But what if they called him Daddy Fred?
Daddy Fred?
Yeah, what if his name was Fred and they just called him Daddy Fred?
I don't know.
See, to me, that's still a no.
Yeah.
I'm your mama. I'm your only mama.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, if there was a chance that there could be some type of amicable relationship between me and their stepdad, then doing something like that is going to put a bad strain there.
That reminds me, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher, when they were together, her kids called him Mod.
My other dad.
How
about that?
Yep. You couldn't do mom, my other mom.
Yeah, but even saying my other dad, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that Mod stands for my other dad. But okay, whatever.
Yeah.
The thing I think matters most is that the kid chooses what they want to call you at some point, as long as it's appropriate.
Okay, so if the kid chooses to call you mommy, is that appropriate?
Like, well, now we're talking about like an age difference thing. Because if they're 2 or 3, then they may do that. But I would say, you know what? If the bio mom has an issue with it, then I would not fight it. I would say, look, figure out something else to call me or whatever. But it's just something that you don't need to stand your ground on at all.
Yeah. Look up like the German name for mom or dad, or the Japanese name.
Ching chong.
Well, I know the German name for mother is mutter.
Mutter.
Yeah. Or you could just be British, mum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know I'm probably going to get some bad feedback on that, but that's all right. I can handle it.
Yeah.
Just don't make me cry. But also, I about passed out on the floor when she said that her dear husband said, "This is going to be your new mom."
Oh, wow.
I'd have knocked him out.
This is going to be your new mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talking about starting things off on the wrong foot.
But he had those unrealistic expectations.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what happens is that men, and I'm not singling out men, but, because I've been in the position, this is what I'm saying, is that you get divorced, right? And like, you're done with this person. They're not a spouse to you anymore. You don't want to have anything else to do with them potentially. And so oftentimes you forget that that's not the same thing for your kids. Like, their relationship with them continues, whereas your relationship with them has ended. And so oftentimes, if you don't think about that, then you get caught up in thinking that, okay, now this next woman's coming in and she's going to be the mom, or she's taking over the motherly role and all that, because you see that your relationship with a spouse has been replaced with a new spouse, and you equate that to the relationship with the kids being replaced by another woman coming in and being mom. And I think that's kind of what happens. I think it's more of a mental shift that people aren't making.
Right. That's true. But still, if I'd have came in here and you'd been like, "Oh, this is going to be your new mom," boy, you'd have seen butt and feet out the door. Or butt and elbows. That's the word, butt and elbows.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah, that's right. That's all you'd have seen. Be like, he is cray-cray.
Been gone.
Yep. Hasta la pasta, baby. No, you're not replacing these people.
Mm-mm.
But I think he learned his lesson.
What about augmented dad?
Well, someone said instead of bonus mom or stepmom, what about substitute mom? I'm like, it's still got mom in it.
Yeah, that's what gets you. Like, we've talked about it before, and I've ranted about it, and I will keep doing it. But I just wish I wish stepmom didn't have the word mom in it. Like step something.
Person.
Step whatever. But I think that's...
What about dad's new hottie?
We did that. We tried that.
So we are here to help you understand that thinking that your new wife or new husband is going to be the new mom or the new dad. No, wrong. Gong show. Boom.
Yeah. Don't put those expectations on them.
And your kids. I mean, my gosh, if my dad would have said, oh, this is your new mom. I mean, unless it was like, I don't know, I might have been happy. I was thinking unless it was like Zsa Zsa Gabor or something.
Well, I do think that that's probably how a lot of this used to be a long time ago.
Yeah, back in the day, in the 50s, we'll say.
No, I'm thinking even longer than that. I'm thinking like back in the 1800s.
Okay.
Because number one, people didn't live that long. And so, like they do now. And so you would literally have a mom that would pass away, maybe giving birth. And so they'd have another woman come in and she would literally take over being the new mom.
Right. And there wasn't every other weekend visitation or 50-50. There was none of that then.
Right. And, this was back when the women stayed home and they worked at home, whereas the men went out. And so a lot of that stuff that was happening back then is very different than now. But I still think sometimes we have that same mentality that that's the way it should be. And I don't think it's that way anymore, and it shouldn't be.
Well, because I think we are ingrained to have that nuclear family.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so historically, it's two parents, a mom and a dad.
Well, the other thing too is if you have kids, then at some point you had to define that your role was going to be a dad or mom if you're there. And so you have this role that you're in, and now all of a sudden, or maybe not all of a sudden, but at some point you find yourself divorced and then you remarry. I think it's natural for you to feel like that you are going back to that role that you were in previously, and that the person you're with is going to be in the other role that the other person was in previously. And you feel like, because that's what we did. That's the exact thing we did. We felt like, okay, now we're both going to jump back into this new family dynamic, and we're going to both go back to the roles that we played before. And boy, did that blow up in our face.
Yeah, like bad.
Yeah. So I think that's part of the issue. And, we didn't know that we were doing it wrong. We just knew that it wasn't working. And so, it's still a big issue. I still see it all the time where husband and wife are coming in, stepkids involved and all this kind of stuff. And they're doing it the same way we tried to do it. And it doesn't work a lot of the time.
Yep. That's right. So on a happier note, 4 more days. 4 more shopping days.
That is not a happier note.
Till Christmas.
I think you're right. I think I'm a bah humbug.
Told y'all. See, I saw it before he did.
I saw it. I just trying to ignore it.
So our next podcast will be after Christmas.
Thank goodness.
It makes me mad and sad and sometimes glad. I'll let y'all know what I got me for Christmas from David next week.
Did y'all catch that?
That's what we do.
Yeah. I always get her what she wants for Christmas.
That's right.
Because she buys what she wants.
That's right.
It's funny because I'm the only one that's surprised by what she opens up at Christmas because she already knows what she's getting.
Hey, a girl's got to make sure she's not disappointed.
And you are not.
Not that I think you would buy me crappy gifts or anything, but I just make sure I get what I want. You can still buy me stuff, but I'm still going to buy myself stuff.
Well, you can either tell me what you want and I'll go buy the same thing, or you can just go buy it yourself.
It's easier to buy it myself.
You can have Amazon gift wrap it for you.
Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm getting ready to go shopping. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. And if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't, then Happy Holidays.
Yep.
If you don't do any of that, then have a great day. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nacho Kids Podcast. Find us online at nachokids.com. Until next time, remember, life is good when you nacho.